Welcome back to the continuation of our journey to the manger. Today, I want us to continue to walk through that story of the journey that the Magi took to come to Jesus. You know, they had traveled 900 miles or so across the desert, and they had come to worship Jesus. They brought gifts, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. You're probably familiar with the story. But there was another character in the story, a guy by the name of Herod. And Herod was seated on the throne of leadership for Judea. So the Roman government had placed Herod in this position of leadership. He's not a Jewish person. He's not waiting for the Messiah, but he's there in this position of power. And when the Magi come and they inform Herod that they're looking for the Messiah, he has a very unique response. And I want you to see in Matthew 2, verse 3, it says, when King Herod heard this from the Magi, he was disturbed, and all of Jerusalem with him. And then he called together all the people's chief priests and teachers of the law, and he asked them, where is the Messiah to be born? In Bethlehem in Judea, they replied, for this is what the prophet has written. Now, this is interesting that he acts like he wants to worship Jesus, because really he doesn't. He's threatened by the coming of this little baby boy, this one who would grow up to be King of all kings and Lord of all lords. But what he didn't realize was that Jesus was not trying to start a physical kingdom here on planet Earth. He wasn't trying to overthrow the Roman government as the next physical king. He was building a spiritual kingdom. Now, the Magi go worship Jesus. They lay down their gifts, and then an angel appears to them in a dream. And the angel warns them that Herod is not interested in worshiping Jesus. Actually, he's an evil man who wants to kill Jesus. And we see this confirmed in verse 16. It says that in verse 16, when Herod realized that he had been outwitted by the Magi, he was furious and gave orders to kill all the boys in Bethlehem and in its vicinity who were 2 years old and under, in accordance with the time he had learned from the Magi. Now, this guy is wicked. He's evil, and he's threatened. He's threatened by the coming of the Messiah. Now, perhaps you don't feel threatened the same way he did by the message of Jesus. But if we're honest, we're all in a bit of a game of thrones with our lives. Like, we want to be in charge of our lives. And in reality, many people don't follow Jesus, choose not to follow Jesus, not because they don't believe, but there are a lot of people that choose not to follow Jesus because they don't want to relinquish control of their life to him. He's the King of all kings and Lord of all lords. He's worthy of worship, and he's worthy of your whole heart, your whole life. And at the end of the story in the book of Revelation, there are angels surrounding the throne of Jesus crying out, holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty, who was and is to come. And the assessment of value that Herod had placed on Jesus was off. The assessment of value that the Magi had placed on him was spot on. And you are assigning value to Jesus with your life. And regardless of how you live, he's still worthy of heaven's glory, honor, all the celebration. But you can join in that song with surrender of your life. And so 2 questions I'm going to leave you with, powerful questions to wrestle through. What is Jesus worth to you, one? And in what ways does his worship threaten you? We're going to come back tomorrow as we unpack those questions a little bit more. But ask the question, what is Jesus worth, and in what ways does his worship threaten